can we take a second to talk about the fact that they have already announced that The Boys is getting a spinoff series? Now, this is one that I don't quite understand because I'm not going to continue harping on the same points to the T that I have been with the previous topics. The one that I don't understand about this is that are any spinoff series actually successful? Like, are there any that have ever like really done that great or surpassed the original? Like, so let's roll back a little bit. The Boys is working. They've announced that they're working on a spinoff series that's, I think it's vaguely about a college type of place for superheroes, young adults who are superpowered, and it's a college for them that's probably going to be run by the Vought Corporation. So make a TV show about that. And you know what? It might be good. That's not what this is about. It might be good because The Boys is a pretty good show. I think you can trust the people behind the property maybe to do a decent job handling another show set in the same universe. But it's just really odd to me because, yes, you know, you don't want them to overstay their welcome to begin with. You don't want The Boys to overstay their welcome and do 5 billion seasons. I just realized this blind has been out of place for this entire podcast, and that's gonna bother me a lot. Anyway, but so the Boys can go on for like 7 seasons. They could try and milk it for all it's worth. I'd prefer they don't do that, but I'd rather that than a spinoff series, if that makes sense. I mean, and you know what? I'm not saying that they can't carve a new path, that they can't prove something for a spinoff series. But it's just interesting that that's the direction that they choose to go. Like, well, season 1 did pretty good. And season 2 is just popping off. People are loving it. The show is getting big. So naturally, let's just dump a few $1 trillion into a spinoff series. Instead of making the series itself bigger and better or capitalizing on it more, we're just going to make a spinoff series. And I just don't understand where the logic for that comes in because I'm trying to think, and maybe I just haven't seen them. So maybe I'm wrong on this, but what spinoff series has been that successful? Like, I'm trying to think. Thinking over to The Walking Dead. Like, The Walking Dead did a spinoff series called, I think it was Fear of the Walking Dead. And like, did anybody watch that? Like, I don't recall anybody watching that. I don't recall that making the news or like becoming a cultural phenomenon or being really that successful. Like, now, I mean, maybe it just made some money. Maybe it made money and it's keeping people's jobs and their salaries are getting paid. So maybe it's worth just doing because just it's more room for these people, these artists to play in the playground. That is the universe. And that's enough. Maybe it doesn't have to be big. But as like studio executives, it's just kind of weird to me that that's the decision that they decide to make with one season. They've had one full season of The Boys, and then they make this decision as soon as they step into season 2. Now, season 2 did just end this weekend, so technically it's 2 seasons. But anyway, not relevant to my topic. It's just, it's very odd that that's the decision they make. We've had like Fear of the Walking Dead. I watched that. It wasn't as good as the original Walking Dead. It just wasn't. The production wasn't there. The acting wasn't there. The story wasn't there. It was all right, but it wasn't really anything to write home about. All these spinoff series and these kind of cinematic universes that I think isn't it the WB maybe that has they've tried to do with superheroes like the Flash and all those random superheroes that I can't even remember the names of that get these TV shows that are all really cheesy and low budget. And like, does anyone watch those either? Are those like hits? Are those big hits? Like, I'm sure some people do watch them. I guess there's some people that for some reason still watch cable maybe, but I struggle to really understand it, I guess. I'm just not, I don't get it. I mean, even look at Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is trying to do spinoffs. I've heard them talk about doing spinoffs of the original series, like going back and like doing like old Targaryens and stuff like that. I think they're casting for that. They might even be in production. I don't know. I don't follow it. I don't follow anything Game of Thrones anymore because, well, we all know why. We saw that last season and we won't forget. So maybe they should take a step back and just reshoot the entire last season before you start doing spinoffs. But yeah, they're jumping into spinoffs. And you know what? A Game of Thrones spinoff is probably one of the most interesting ones, because if they go back like a couple hundred years and they are still in George R.R. Martin's world, then there's a good chance that there's a lot of rich story to be told there that wouldn't feel like a crappy prequel where you know what happens beforehand. You know, it probably wouldn't feel like some low budget spinoff if HBO is doing it, and it is a spinoff prequel type of thing. But I still don't know that I'm in love with the idea of it. I'm just not big on it. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Like, especially because can't you just go forward? I mean, I know George R.R. Martin's never going to finish writing the series, but like, couldn't you just go forward? Like, pay Martin a bunch of money to like give you a plot outline to happen like 50 years after the events of the final season of the original Game of Thrones series, and like talk about the grandchildren of all the old characters or something. Like, do something, move forward. I'm tired of going backwards. I'm tired of going adjacent, like going across the road. Why don't we just move forward? Like when we're doing spinoffs, when we're doing sequels, when we're doing these cash grab property type of things where we're trying to expand the universe, stop going sideways, and why don't we just go forward? Like, keep the story tight, expand what we already have. I don't know. I just, I'd watch like 5 more seasons of The Boys easy. And then, I mean, I'd probably watch a series that's set after The Boys finishes. But I don't know that I care about a series that's about superheroes in college. And I'm sure they'll make it funny. I'm sure they'll make it gritty and explosive, and I'm sure they'll have really creative ways to kill people, and there will be plenty of heads that explode. But for me, it's just like, I can get excited for The Boys, but a spinoff about college superheroes, no, I don't know. Not excited. I'll watch it, but... And maybe that's what they know. They know that they don't need us to be excited. They just need us to say, I'll check it out. And then by doing that, we play right into their hands. They get what they want. But what can you do? I mean, when it's money like that, when it's Hollywood doing their thing, what can we, as average consumers who just enjoy having a place to escape, do? I don't know.